Measure around the largest part of the head, just above the eyebrows. Measure around the chin, just above the chin bone and around the back of the neck. Measure around the neck, just above the Adam's apple. Measure around the face, vertically. Measure over the top of the head from the base of the neck on one side to the base of the neck on the other. Measure over the top of the head from the center of the eyebrows to the base of the back of the neck. Measure across the back at the base of the neck from shoulder tip to shoulder tip. Measure across the back from the armpit crease to the armpit crease. Measure across the smallest part of the waist from one side to the other. Measure round the smallest part of the waist. Measure from the shoulder tip down to the armpit crease in the back. Measure from the center of the shoulder blade to the crotch level. It may help to have a ruler between the legs. Measure from the center of one shoulder blade down to the smallest part of the waist at the spine. Measure from the center of one shoulder blade straight down to hip level. For the next 5 measurements, have the customer hold their right arm straight out to the side parallel to the floor. Measure from the middle of the spine to just beyond the wrist bone. Measure from the armpit to just beyond the wrist bone. Measure from the base of the neck atop the arm to just beyond the wrist bone. Measure from the outer shoulder blade bone to just beyond the wrist bone. Measure around the shoulder bone at the armpit. With the arms down and relaxed, measure from the outer shoulder blade to the armpit crease in the front. Measure from the same point straight down to the level of the chest. Measure from the shoulder to the chest level on the side. Measure from the same point straight down to waist level. From that same point, measure down to the level of the crotch. Use a stick or a ruler if needed. Measure all the way around the body from the shoulder down through the crotch up to the same point on the shoulder. With both arms relaxed at the side, measure from armpit crease to armpit crease across the front. With arms down and relaxed, measure around the largest part of the chest. Measure around the stomach just below the navel. Measure around the largest part of the hips or buttocks. For the legs, measure both sides individually. Most everyone is slightly different. If the difference is 1 inch or more, you may want to remeasure both sides to confirm, starting with the right. Measure around the largest part of the thigh, just below crotch level. Measure around the largest part just above the knee bone. Measure around the smallest part just below the knee bone. The distance between above knee and below knee is about 3.5 inches. Measure around the largest part of the calf muscle. Measure just above the ankle bone. Now measure the left side. Measure around the largest part of the thigh just below the crotch level. Measure around the largest part just above the knee bone. Measure around the smallest part just below the knee bone. Measure around the largest part of the calf muscle. Measure just above the ankle bone. It may help to hold the ruler between the legs at the crotch level for these measurements. Measure from the top of the ruler to just below the kneecap. With the tape in the same location, measure down to the ankle bone. With the tape at the same location, measure down to the floor. Measure from the ankle bone up to the largest part of the calf. Measure from the ankle bone up to the center of the kneecap. We need your shoe size and measurements, whether you're ordering boots or not. This way we have them on file for future reference. On the back of the chart, have the customer stand with equal weight on both feet. With the pen straight up, trace around the foot. Measure over the arch just before the ankle at the largest part. Write the measurements next to the area of the foot. With the foot still in place, measure over the knuckles just before the toes, from floor to floor. 8 inches up from the floor, measure around the leg and write that measurement anywhere away from the footprint. That will be the boot top. Mermaid tail measurements. In addition to the previous leg measurements, these are needed to create your tail. Take all of the measurements with the legs as close together as possible. Measure around both thighs just below the crotch level at the largest part. Measure around both knees at the largest part above the kneecaps. Measure around both knees just below the kneecaps. Measure around both calves at the largest part. Measure around both ankles just above the ankle bones. All the arm measurements should be taken with the arms hanging to the side and relaxed. No cheating. Measure around the largest part of the bicep. If that's not easy to determine, measure 3 to 4 inches above the elbow. Measure around the arm at the elbow bone. Measure around the arm at the largest part of the forearm, about 2 inches below the elbow. Measure the wrist just below the wrist bone. Please remember to measure both the right and the left arm individually. With the arm in front of the customer, elbow bent at a 90-degree angle, measure the length between the elbow point and just below the wrist along the outer arm. With the arm in the same position, measure inside the elbow to just beyond the wrist. For women only, measure the distance between the nipples. On one side, measure from under the arm to the nipple on the same side. Accurate height and weight measurements help the pattern maker assess the previous measurements taken. If possible, a photo would be very helpful as well.